We are going to do something a little different in this video. I just went out to my shed. I pulled my camping box out. It has Christmas paper in it from this Christmas. I was asked to go over my camping box. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over everything. Some of these were from our last camping trip and never got resealed up into packages. And it rained, and yeah, and it's hard, and I have to get rid of some of it. So we're going to be going over my entire camping box, everything I keep in my camping box, and how I keep the stuff. Like I said, this is a complete disaster area because this is our last camping trip. I never cleaned up after our last camping trip, and it's all a mess. So I'm going to go over this individually with you and show you all the different treasures I have in my camping box. I'm sure some of you know what these are and some of you don't. Alright, we'll be back. Hello again, guys. Alright, I've gotten some of this cleaned out. And I've started the organization process, and I want to go over everything with you guys carefully so you can see everything that I have and how I do it. There are so many different small random things you don't think about when you're camping. And we camp. We don't glamp. We camp. We pitch tents. We cook over an open fire. All that fun stuff, and I will show you when we go camping. We'll bring you along, and I'll show you some of my cooking over an open fire. I bring cast iron with, and I have a whole setup. Alright, my box. This is one of those Christmas tree boxes that you buy, and instead of using it for a Christmas tree, I have all my camping gear in it. And then what I have here is different random extra posts. Whenever you're camping and you're camping with a tent, you always seem to be missing something. Whether it's one of these posts, or one of these kind of stakes, or one of these kind of stakes. I've got extras of all of that here in my box for if we need it. The next thing I have is I've got a big Dutch oven that we bring with camping. This is one of those things that I think is an absolute must, especially for camping the way I do and cooking over a big open fire the way I do. This is a lid lifter. I got it for $9.99 online on Amazon. Cheap, easy, simple. You can get it at, I've seen it at Menards. Seen it at Home Depot. I've seen it at several different big hardware places. This here is also the thing that hooks onto the side and lets you lift it up and out. I take this off and put it on right before I go to put it in the fire pit. It's just easier to keep it here in my compartment. This big thing here and this big metal one here, I do not use those for cooking food. I use these for picking up, lifting, and using coal and shifting the fire and the coals around in the fire pit. This shifts them around. It's a nice long one, and it's easy to wash and rinse off. I've had this for a while. It's poked through on it. My kids were having fun one day. Poked holes through it with this. This stirs my fire, gets it so that I can make a nice flat surface for me to set my my brain is farting. Dutch oven on top of. And then this I use to pick up the coals and set them on top of the Dutch oven so I don't burn myself. So these I do not use for actual food. I use these for the coals for the Dutch oven. This is a cast iron skillet washing thing, scrubber. I don't use this at home. At home I've got a different setup. I've got copper scrubbies. But when I'm out camping and you've only got a little bit of water, and this is excellent. This is great to have camping. Next thing for tools. We used to do plastic cups, paper cups, plastic, yeah, all that fun stuff. And then at the end of the year last year, I got this on sale. It's a Coleman 12-piece enamel dinnerware set. We haven't used it yet, but I'm looking forward to using it because it will also work great. Boom. And then the box fits down in the bottom so nicely, and if we do it right, we can stack them and reuse all of them. Here, let me show you what they look like. Those are the plates. There's only 4 of us, so this is perfect for us. I love this. This is a little ladle. I won't use this for soup. I will probably use this for water for us to drink out of really quick. And then we've got bowls, and then little cups. I'm excited to use these for the first time when we go camping this summer. And like I said, when we go camping the first time this summer, we're going to take you along. We haven't made official plans for when our first camping trip will be yet. There's so much going on. We have to make arrangements and decide when that's going to happen. But we will for sure take you with. Alright. Next thing for tools. Each of us has our own flashlight so that we all examples of why I'm going through my 2 of them don't work. Examples of, and it's probably just batteries. This is why I go through my camping bucket before we ever even go out for the first time for the year. So batteries, that's on my list of things, and then check them. We each had our own headlamp. We'll have to get new ones. I think this one is just a matter of, yeah. You can get these at Walmart for like 98 cents. We each, I'll get new ones for the other ones. There's 3 of them missing. I'll make sure I get them. I always have rope with me, twine, at the bottom of my camping thing. You never know with camping. Alright, these are just my metal tools, my basic tools, and other things. This is a lighter. We all know what this is. I always check it and fill it up before we leave. But, I will be making up and preparing my fire packs for the year. And I will show you how I do that. My fire starter packs for the year. I make several of them, and I will be piling them up. I've also got food packets I'm putting together, and we will be going over all of that together. One last thing I forgot to mention. These. I mentioned them earlier in the video. What these are is they go on the underside of the picnic tables to hold down your tablecloths for the picnics, for at the campsites. I love these things. Alright, we're going to pause and I'm going to move on to the next stage and the next part of these. My husband is so going to love me. This video is probably going to be a couple dozen different clips. I'm going to go over everything as I add it so that you see everything as I do it, and it helps give you ideas. First thing I've got, bag of Ziploc baggies, assorted random sizes. I really do not need to explain why I do that. Next thing I have here, I'm going to be not necessarily doing all this in order. I'm doing it as I put it together. This is 1 weekend's worth of hot chocolate. We have hot chocolate for breakfast. After waking up cold in a tent and sleeping all night in a tent, hot chocolate is amazing for breakfast. So, all sealed up, this is an entire weekend's worth of hot chocolate. Anytime we go camping, I will put a weekend's worth of hot chocolate sealed in a bag like this. Alright, I'm going to get more together. This is one of the things I do not zipper seal shut because we want quick, easy access to it. These are all kinds of different assorted spoons, forks, sporks, eating utensils, you get these at restaurants, from fast food joints, whenever we go anywhere, which isn't very often, and we go out and eat. I literally grab handfuls of these because I use them for camping. I mean, not handfuls, obviously, but, you know, when there's 4 of us getting dinner, they don't notice if you grab 8 of them. So, there we go. Those go in here. Now I'm going to move on to getting the next thing in here. Here I have my breakfast. I have them broken down into what we would use for breakfast in the mornings. Last year I made the mistake of sealing all of them together and then opening it up and then using what I needed and then coming home and then thinking that I'd reseal them, and well, the last camping trip took place and you saw it, I lost a whole bunch of oatmeals to having sat and gotten wet. So I broke them down and individually sealed them into individual breakfasts. And then what I do is I take the pre-made oatmeal packets, and I just had it, and now I can't find it. There it is. And then I have raw oatmeal here, and I open up all the little packets and I dump them into my big cast iron pan with my boiling water and some of these. Sometimes I add home canned fruit that I bring with, or fruit juices like cherry juice or strawberry that I've canned myself. And sometimes Thrive Life fruit is great to add to your morning breakfast. And oh, we love it. We camp in a tent, so you wake up and you're putting on pants and a sweater and you're cold at 7 o'clock in the morning and you're shivering around the fire. Nothing is better than warm oatmeal with fruit and a glass of hot chocolate to get your morning going after camping in a tent. Alright, there's another thing down. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, the next thing I bring with. This is a brand new one because I had used all of my ones from last year. And there was a few of them in the bottom that had gotten left that were squished. But these are, ha ha ha, surprise, surprise, gelatin shot glass things with lids. However, I use these for all kinds of things when going camping. Little cups of nuts and fruit when we're sitting around waiting for Mom to finish cooking and they're whining. I can open up a nut thing and split it and let them eat it, or a little bit of dehydrated fruit, or if we're having like chicken or hot dogs or things like that, they can dip them. I can put a little ketchup in here, and they've got a little dipping cup. It can also be used for, like, if you make potato salad or pasta salad, or like a little fruit salad, and you're dishing up everybody's cup or plate, and you can have it in a little serving size amount like this. I love to have these with. I do not vacuum seal these. Once I open them, I will put them in a Ziploc baggie, and they will stay in here, and I'll use them. You would be surprised, absolutely amazed what you find to use these for camping. Alright, let's go over the last of what I consider my basic tools. Now, all of this stuff that I have in here is stuff that I have in here at all times. When I actually go camping, I plan a meal for every single meal, and prepare and bag and advance things up, package things up in advance before we even leave. So even though I do oatmeal and hot chocolate for breakfast, these are just emergency. Peanut butter, that's an emergency lunch. And then seeds, those are emergency snacks. I do not use any of this food as part of my planned camping meals, or like the applesauces that I put in here. I also don't include those as part of my planned camping meals. These are emergency. If something changes while we're camping, or I need to do something quickly while we're camping, easy snacks, quick stuff, faster and easier. Alright, the next thing I have is my main camping matches. As you can see, the box is about a third of the way gone, and I always vacuum seal it before we leave and store it vacuum sealed. It just prevents any kind of possible accidents or destruction of, and the inability to then use and start the matches at a later date. When we're out camping and I've opened this up, it then goes in my Ziplocs. I have a whole bag here of Ziplocs. We'll go over this in a second. Then these are emergency matches. So these only get opened up if something happens to these or I run out of these. These are emergency fire starters, and I only open these up and use these if I need to. Emergency. Again, I always do this also, which is a little different than this. And this has got a fire starter in it for, again, emergencies. These are not part of what I plan as part of my camping. I have a whole different setup when I go, not different, but a whole added setup when I actually go camping. So I will make a video for you of that before I leave. And that one will be, you know, everything I take on my camping trip, or camping for my camping trip, packing for my camping trip. Alright, and the last thing that I consider part of my tools, and I always like to have them in here for emergency, and I make extras for at the actual camping. These are my fire pit starter kits. This is where the old Christmas wrapping paper comes in. I get one big piece, one little piece, and then I fold them up nicely. And then this is, in here is a little bag, and in the bag is a big old wad of shredded paper. And then if you can see in there, it's one of those fire starter blocks. So when I start my fires, I like to wad up the 2 pieces of wrapping paper, and then I sprinkle and top it all off with the shredded paper, and then I put my fire starter and settle it down and in. Then I build the wood up in a teepee-like, and then I take cardboard. That's what this is. This is part of my planned packing. I make more as they come up. It's just a piece of cardboard too, and I cut them, and then when I pile up and TP my wood and I have this in the bottom of it, I then take this and stick it and lean it up against the pile of this paper up against the TP log, and this just helps add more burning and flame up the edges of the wood. I'll show you how I start a fire when we go camping, when we're actually out camping, and you'll see there's going to be several videos on how I use all my stuff when we go camping. Then you'll see how I actually use the kits. And these are, again, emergency kits. So when I go out camping and I actually do my final pack for camping, I'll make more of these for how many days we're going to be out, how many meals I'm going to need them for, and I prep ahead what I will need for the actual camping trip. This is all just emergency. Alright, if you like this video, you like the ideas that I had, one of what I think is the most important ideas for camping is always keep extras from parts of other tents, because you never know when you go out and pull all your stuff out of your tent that you might have left something behind at the last camping site, and now all of a sudden you need a part to a tent. I like to go to the pawn shops, and the pawn shops will bring in tents and then put them together. And when they put the tents together to make sure that it's all there, sometimes they'll have tents that don't have all the parts, or sometimes they'll have tents that have too many parts, and then they'll sell the ones that don't have all the parts at a discount price. I like to buy those. I even have here an extra roof for my tent to help keep out the rain. So I have a double to make sure that we really don't worry about getting rained on. Alright, there's my ideas. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the videos I upload. We'll see you in the next one, and stay positive. Bye!